Hey guys, welcome to Wrestling Daze and welcome to this WWE Clash in Paris review and opinions video. So, I'm looking forward to getting into your comments. I'm thinking of starting doing something new with these, which is going to be to, at the start, kind of go down a bit of a list. I'd love to talk about what the best match of the show was, who the person of the show was, what the moment of the show was, but it's only just dawned on me to really start doing that, so I'm going to have to give that a little bit of thought. I did jot a couple of things down though, so I can give you a couple of quick thoughts. I think the person of this show was John Cena. I think this crowd were red hot for him. I think he put in a really good performance. I don't think it's as good as what we saw at SummerSlam, of course. This was not the main event. He didn't have an opponent of the caliber of Cody. So, you know, it's one of those where I think he puts in a really good performance and the crowd are right there for him, you know? He is connected with them. They are connected with him, and that greatly helped that match. Even if you weren't a fan of that match, I think you can still appreciate that you was watching something of significance just due to how hot that crowd were, and that was all thanks to John Cena. I think he got the biggest pop of the night, and the fans were going crazy for him. Obviously, we know that just after this now, there's only 8 dates left. But the reason why I gave him the nod wasn't really because he got the biggest pop, but it was because he kept paying tribute to people. And actually, afterwards, he did come out and say that he had done a Styles clash to pay tribute to AJ Styles because he doesn't think he's going to get a chance to wrestle AJ. And how gutting is that? That we could have bumped Logan off this and we could have had John Cena versus AJ Styles instead. Like, we are now not going to do that match. Seemingly, we're not going to get a chance. And instead, we did this instead. Now, I know many of you enjoyed it. I think John delivered here. I think the crowd delivered here. I think the tribute and all those moves that were in this match that John and Logan, in all fairness, Logan did a zigzag, did an octopus. So, I mean, Logan did a buckshot lariat, but we've seen him do that before. So, yeah, for me, the person here that gets the nod, person of the show, John Cena. Moment of the show, I think, has got to be Becky at the end. I know it's not what people were looking for, but if it does lead to AJ Lee, then, of course, brilliant, right? Brilliant. This is the first domino, if you will, that needed to fall to get us where we need to get to. So I just really don't want to have to get my hopes up only for them to be dashed again. Because when CM Punk came back, I thought, oh, does that mean she'll be in the Rumble? And then when she wasn't, I was like, okay, they're saving her for WrestleMania. And then when she wasn't, it was like, okay, that's maybe because CM Punk's injured, so we've had to change plans. So could it be SummerSlam? Because he's at SummerSlam, and then she wasn't. And then it's like, okay, perhaps she was busy this year. Perhaps it'll be Royal Rumble 2025. And then she wasn't. And then you go, is it going to be WrestleMania? And then it wasn't. And then you go, maybe it's Evolution, right? Maybe it's going to be that because that's an all-women's PLE, and that is going to really appeal to AJ Lee. She's all about women empowerment, and I think that really speaks to her. And then she wasn't. And I thought I was pretty much done now, right? I thought I was pretty much done. I thought, okay, maybe when we get back to the Royal Rumble 2026, I might get my hopes up again. I didn't expect to be sat here now getting my hopes up for WrestlePalooza. Or, like, even if it's not that, like a PLE in the very near future. So I don't know. I mean, I agree with you. Like, I can see what you can see. It feels like the table is set. It definitely feels like we can go in that direction. I just hope there's not a swerve and it turns out to be Roxanne, or it turns out to be Rhea, or it turns out to be Bayley. And actually, we've set the table for one of those to come and help CM Punk when we all want it to be AJ Lee right now, you know? So, I don't know. But definitely this has set up something like that. So, as a result, I think Becky gets a moment of the show. I think move of the show goes to that Styles clash. I think that as a little tribute to AJ was great. You could have maybe gone with something like the tsunami on Roman after the match. You could have gone with the white noise through the tables. I don't think there's loads of competition, actually. You could have gone with the Lynch pin, because I flipping love that. Where she hooks the arm and goes over and gets the pin. That's twice that move has worked for her now and actually resulted in her winning the match. So I really like that move. But I think Cena doing a Styles Clash as a tribute, it's got to be move of the match, hasn't it? And then for me, the best match, if we're going to include the post-match beatdown, I think it is Roman against Bronson. You lot scored that great 76%, and there was no other match that you lot scored above that, right? And I agree with you. I think the match between them was pretty good. I don't know how I would have felt if you took that kind of post-match beatdown away. I think the score benefits by having all the kind of post-match stuff with it as well. And they gave that thing time. I mean, I think that had like 50-odd minutes. Obviously, there was entrances. There was the video package at the start. There was the post-match attack. But by the time we were done, we were nearly an hour into this show, which was pretty crazy. So I've got that as my match of the show as well. Just talking about the matches, I'll give you the community scores. So Roman against Bronson, you said was great 76. Wyatt against Street Profits, you said was good 93. Becky against Nikki, you said was good 70. Rusev against Sheamus, great 72. Logan against John Cena, great 71. Just came in under Rusev Sheamus, but that was very, very close. And then the main event, the Fatal 4-Way, came in as great 48. So actually, from a match point of view, 6 matches, according to you guys, 4 of them getting into the great range. Logan John, great 71. Rusev Sheamus, great 72. Roman Bronson, great 76. Those were our top 3 matches, right? So score-wise, it's hard, isn't it? I mean, really, there was nothing else here. An electric crowd. Nice set. Becky match underwhelmed. Street Profits against the Wyatts. There was a tease there of a split. Yeah, I don't know. I think this is probably going to be about a 7. I mean, there were talking points dotted throughout the show. The crowd really only dipped out, I would say, main event. Other than that, they were pretty much there. They provided the energy. I think if you took the crowds away from this show, I think this could have really started to struggle. I think the crowd do actually add a lot of energy here. But yeah, Wyatt Street Profits was fine. Wouldn't have looked out of place on Raw. Becky Nikki was not great at all. And yeah, I think people were probably a bit down on the surprise at the end, hoping for something bigger. But I don't know, maybe Becky's in the vision now. Perhaps she's like a full signed up member. And as we said, it kind of does tease something quite juicy. So 6, 7, 5, 7 is the range I'm in, right? Some people were asking if this was the worst PLE of the year. I mean, honestly, off the top of my head, I'm not sure. But I think there's enough to stop this from being a disaster. But let's see what you lot think, because we got 70-odd comments. I don't know if we're going to get through all of them, but we'll stick around for 20 minutes, and we're going to give it a good go, okay? So, Nita Nitro said, another PLE of no consequence. I'm thoroughly disappointed. The card needed Dom AJ and a women's match that was better than Becky Nikki. I'm disappointed yet again. If things don't pick up soon, I don't know if I can keep making time for this in my week. So, Nita Nitro is struggling with the show quality at the moment. Wrestling Russ said, I thought it was disappointing. I'm hardly ever negative about WWE, but this show didn't deliver. It's the same old story on another day. Black Eyes said, one of the worst PLEs of all time. A load of dog shiz. Would have been better if AJ Styles was on. Lived up to its name, Clash of Nothing. A generous 2 out of 10. Man, maybe I've completely misjudged this. Maybe not, though. Vicky said it was amazing, start to finish. Crowd was fantastic. Giving it a 9. Nikki didn't win, but the highlight was the sing-along to Shatter. Austin gives it 5, said the Roman match was really good, but the beatdown dragged on too long. Next 2 matches were Rusev and Sheamus was good. Logan, Cena and main event okay. I had no doubt with Seth winning. And the 4th member was Now we've got to hear about a certain wrestler. That is true. You are going to hear a lot about AJ Lee now. It is true. It is true. Brady said it was okay, nothing groundbreaking. The match I enjoyed the most was Wyatt 6 Street Profits. Wyatt 6 entrance was the best thing of the night. Cena, Logan, that we got being one of Cena's last matches, a tragedy. I do agree. El Patata said Roman Reed was good, but predictable. Wyatt's match was predictable. Becky match was bad, predictable. Rusev Sheamus was great. Clean ending is appreciated. Logan kicking out of like 3 finishers, but Asuka can lose in 8 minutes. Main event was and predictable, and a bad surprise. Alfie said, I enjoyed the show. Matches were good. The France crowd being incredible. The only thing I didn't like was Becky being in the vision. It wasn't as shocking as Triple H made it out to be. So 7. FYI said it was a very good PLE, in my opinion. I enjoyed every match, even though I don't care about Cena Paul. And I'm very tired of Becky Lynch already. But I never stopped watching, which is rare. Seth should have dropped. I would have added that to the storyline. Absolutely wild crowd. I think they are officially the best crowd. So FYI said 7.5. That's really interesting, actually, because how do we think they compare to Backlash? I feel like Backlash benefited by us going, what's this? What's going on? The French fans are losing their minds. I feel like they did that again tonight, but we were more prepared for it. So it maybe lacks a little bit of the shock value of last year. Oh, still an amazing crowd, though. You're absolutely not wrong. But that's an interesting conversation. Which is the best crowds? Is it this? Is it last year? Is it a different crowds? I might vote for last year still. But some of that might be to do with the shock. Although, do you remember they were bouncing so much? The hard cam was bouncing. Like, we didn't get that this time. So I don't know. It's a good one. It's a really good conversation, though. Wrestling fan said, I thought it was a really good show with a very solid crowd and some decent in-ring action. Fatal 4-Way was the best match. Right. Wrestling fan liked the main event. Real John said the show was very average. At times, it felt like it was just there. Match quality should have been better and more intriguing. Overall, I thought this show was honestly a bit underwhelming. John Cena should have had a better opponent for this show. It's a weird show. Real John, thank you. Nico said, what's up, Daze? It was okay. It had some good spots and matches, but I thought they could have done bigger for Paris. Writing Romanoff, maybe joining with Seth could mean Punk brings in AJ Lee. He seemed to hint at that. But anyway, hopefully, I'm going to give the show about an 8. Uncle Rebel said, I thought it was a lot of fun. I enjoyed all the matches outside the women's match because there was a lot better options for the girls. Wyatt's on a PLE is a win. Fatal 4-Way was fun. And I'm glad they pulled the trigger on Becky in the Vision. So 7.5. Dean said, I thought Clash in Paris was really good. I love the Rusev match, and I like Cena Logan match, and the Roman match, and Nikki Bella botch took me out of the IC title match. When you say Nikki Bella botch, what do you refer to? I mean, she did jump off and go for the kick, and Becky was nowhere there, so she did botch. But I would maybe make the argument that Becky doing whatever this was on the outsides, you know, I mean, I know that you can't just smash her head into the commentary table. Like, you do have to sort of protect yourself to some degree. But some of them look so bad that actually, for me, that was a moment I really started struggling. Was whatever this was on the outside of the ring. So, I mean, look, I don't think either of them had their best day. I don't think the chemistry between them was all that great. And, you know, we ended up with what we ended up with. So, I don't think there's much debate. That was the worst match. I agree. Tyler said it was a great show, but it pees me off that Becky got involved, and it pees me off that Punk was screwed. Evan said, I was at the show tonight. Despite the crowd, honestly, it was average. Becky, Nikki killed the mood. No offense to either. Show was also long. It was long, you're right. Crowd were tired midway through the main event, I thought, and that did come across that way. Being there made a difference, so 7 from Evan. I think that is a very, very level-headed review. So, Evan, respect to you, because you do get a lot of people that go to these shows, and because they get caught up in the atmosphere, and because they actually watch the superstars there in person, they get a different experience than what we get at home. And for me, I can totally agree with all of this. I would say that's exactly how it came across at home as well. So, amazing crowd, though. I mean, to say you was a part of that crowd is a real badge of honor. In fact, you should make yourself a little badge that says I was a part of the Clash in Paris crowd, because it was amazing. But I think you guys did run out of steam. Ryder said 725. I thought it was a solid B show, and I would rank it behind Evolution, Chamber, SummerSlam. Last 3 matches carried it to over a 7. My only gripe was too many long, drawn-out post angles and a slow pace in matches where they lost the crowd in certain spots. Mitchell said, honestly, not the best show. I'm settling around 675. Hey, you and me. The card wasn't the best going in, and I called Becky joining Seth's group for a while now. Best match was probably the Rusev match. Roman match and Aftermath taking up an hour was criminal, said Mitchell. Elite Pro Wrestling Forum said, went 6 for 6 on predictions. Happy to see WWE beat Taylor Swift. Great crowd and show overall. One for the ages. The Rickster said, I've actually become way more critical than I used to be, but it was a good show. Match 1 was good. Match 2 could have been better, but it didn't suck. Match 3 was horrible. Match 4 was a banger. Match 5 was great. And main event was a waste of time, so I've got to try and remember what the matches were. So that one was Roman's match. That one was the tag match. That one was Nikki and Becky. That one was the Donnybrook. That one was the Cena match, and that was the main event. Rickster, thank you. Taker 1990 said Clash was a Paris screw job for Peacock's final PLE. Peacock should have a lawsuit against WWE for putting out a horrible final PLE under the contract. I give it a 6, and that is being generous for Roman's match and the main event. Shout out to you, Daze. Taker 1990, thank you. Kian said, had to do it this way. I've reached my limit. Okay. What have we got in here? Sometimes it's just hard to get it all to fit on screen. That is the drama. Overall, a great show. Bronson Roman had good chemistry. Tag match did its job in what I believe was some distance between the profits. Nikki, Becky was a little sloppy. Logan, Cena was better than I thought. As for the main event, not the big surprise that the night was hyped up to be. Does that mean AJ is closer now? Just if that isn't the end game, it doesn't make sense. Becky being 4th member. Main event was decent, but the ending just doesn't live up. Credit to the French crowds, who were great for the majority of the night. I hear you. Kian, I hear you. Mattel gives it a 7. Said the show overran. The post had cut. No need to watch post-show. Okay. Only heard from John and Triple H. Okay, that I've still not caught up with that, actually. I was watching on Peacock. The entire thing ran by 20 minutes. Elite Pro Wrestling Forum said, perfect open. Wow. Great tag match. Wyatt 6 forever. Becky, Nikki was great. Nikki did her big one. Cena showed his ass. Did he? And can still work. Sheamus, Rusev was fun. Hopefully it's over. Crazy 4-way. Unexpected finish. Happy Bex is in the vision. So 9 from Elite Pro Wrestling Forum. Kashima said, Daze, my thoughts on this pay-per-view. I didn't think it was the best. Very predictable matches with the outcomes. It was nothing special. I'm giving it a 5, said Kashima. Thank you. Travel Agent said it was okay. Best thing was Becky saving Seth. Welcome back soon, AJ Lee. Box Lex F1, shout out to you, buds. Said Daze, hope you're good, oos, and you, my friends. I thought it was a very average PLE, but not bad. Bit predictable. Becky will go for the World Women's Heavyweight title and be Becky 2 belts again, unless AJ or Bailey cost her. Sheamus Rusev was good, but a TV match in my opinion. Sammy Solo would have been better on the PLE instead. I thought we would get Lesnar post Cena match. Now there are more question marks as to what is next with most of the top stars. 6.5. Box Lex F1, thank you, but Herdy Sketch said terrible. It was full of botches, obvious outcomes, and the worst matches for a long time. So Herdy Sketch struggling. I find this so interesting because we do have, I would say the average feels like it's around 6 to 7, right? There are some people above that, but there are a healthy majority under as well. Really feels like this one has divided opinion. I feel like this show has really divided opinion. We actually started off, didn't we, with a bit of a run there of people struggling. And then I think as we've got into it, like the scores are sort of like picking up a little bit more as we're kind of moving forwards. Still, though, varied, very varied. Andrew said, great. Also, that ending, we're going to get Punk and AJ Lee against Becky and Seth. It needs to happen. Paquera said it was a very enjoyable PLE. The crowd, as always in Europe, MVPs, giving it an 8. Wrestling's biggest fan said great PLE, but needed one more ladies match, 7. Vurik said it was solid, like I knew it was going to be. Very predictable. Becky helping Seth. So either we get AJ Lee or the boring option, Nikki Bella. Oh my God, could you imagine? Could you imagine if we get Nikki partnering up with CM Punk and we don't get AJ Lee? Oh my God. Sheamus, Cena matches bangers. Roman match solid. Becky match was okay. Nikki isn't good in ring and the rest were just good. So Vurik said 7. Jesse said 7. I think Roman is having matches that are below him. He's not a mid-carder. He should have more important stories. I agree with that. The thing is, though, he's going away, isn't he? So I suppose they couldn't really get him into anything more important at this stage. I don't think they want to do him, Seth, right now. But that's what this show would have really benefited from. You know, if we had have done Seth, Roman, one-on-one, and then had Becky kind of getting involved. Although, you know, would we then have kind of took a step closer towards AJ Lee returning if we'd have done that? So, I don't know, it's a tricky one, that, isn't it? Rusev, Sheamus was good. Loved Becky and Nikki. Wanted Nikki to win. Logan John was great, even if I hate Logan. Fatal 4 was good, but I did not like the ending, says Jesse. John said, I wonder if Becky giving the assist at the end leads to an AJ Lee return. I didn't expect Becky. I thought it would be Tony D or Ethan Page. Cracks within the Street Profits. Really thought Brock was going to show up after Cena's match. And a fantastic match with Sheamus and Rusev. Generation said, opening match, Cena versus Logan and the main event were all the match of the night contenders. It was a great show. Darth said, France is nuts. What a crowd. The event was 6 out of 10 for me. 2 for the energy of the fans. So 8. The bad was Becky. That match sucked. And I wish the main event was longer. Big Bam said, good for a card that felt pretty mid. 7. Kieran says 6.5. Some matches were too long. Disappointing ending. Becky doesn't need that group, but some matches were all right. They need to fix up the booking. Allison said it was good. 7 out of 10. I enjoyed the John Cena match. The crowd was amazing, and it made it a good PLE. Curtis said, great show. AJ Lee is definitely coming back. Chris said, Daze, that was quite a long show. It was quite long. My voice knows it was long. 6 out of 10. The Roman match starting off being the best match might have been the problem. The ending with Becky most likely joining just doesn't really do anything for me. Unless it leads to an AJ Lee return, then that would be something. Thoughts? Well, I am a fan of AJ Lee. I think AJ Lee is... It's one of those, right, where she might get in the ring and... women's wrestling has obviously evolved over the last 10 years. I think I read the last time AJ Lee had a match in WWE was like 2015, early 2015. I remember, I think her last match potentially being WrestleMania 31. So, I mean, it's been 10 years and we have done so much with women's wrestling in that time. To bring AJ Lee back, you know, I would imagine she would be quite concerned that it's sort of passed her by. I think she was always good. She always stood out. I think it's going to be really hard for her to do that now when you've got people like Io and Rhea and Bianca and all this amazing talent. So, but maybe she doesn't need to worry about that because she is AJ Lee and she just needs to come down to the ring, do a bit of skipping, do a couple of bits that she's got in her kind of moveset. And, you know, the fans' love and support will just, you know, fill in any gaps. But that 10-year inactivity is going to be a killer as well, isn't it? So, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I think it does kind of insinuate that she's going to come back. I just don't know if it should be for a long run or just a match. I mean, maybe just treat her like a celeb. You know what I mean? Like, put a match together at WrestleMania, maybe a mixed tag match so she's not in there on her own. I mean, her coming back in a mixed tag match makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? You bring her back in a mixed tag match, she's a lot more protected. It's very Ronda, WrestleMania 34. She can kind of, ease back into it. And everyone is going to make her look good. And, maybe she could do with that. And then we can put together a WrestleMania singles match for her where she's going to shine. I mean, she's a great talent. I'm not trying to say she's not a great talent. I'm just trying to say that she looked great in her time period because the other women were not to her standard. Now the women definitely are. They definitely are. And so it's going to be a lot harder to stand out. But she's a legend, man. People would love to see her back, including me. Raymond said, Daze, I thought Clash in Paris was good. Crowd was outstanding, and I really enjoyed each match, except Nikki Becky. That match was not good at all. So I'm going to rate Clash in Paris 7.25. Shout out to you. See you for Raw. See you for Raw, buds. David said, show was awesome. Great matches all round. It wasn't a stellar card, but they damn sure made the most out of it. Wrestling God said I'm scoring it an 8.5. Tiger said, I'm going to tap out after WrestlePalooza. The show is the first show I have ever watched where I just waited for it to end. I think it's time to stop watching for a bit, says Tiger Claw. Wrestling fan since day one said 6 for the pay-per-view. Tony and Elia tomorrow for Raw. Well, Tony is apparently in Paris, so there very much could be, yes, a call-up. Becky had to do Summer after the botch earlier with Nikki. I didn't like the ending at all. Best match was John Logan. Good night, Daze. See you tomorrow, said Wrestling fan since day one. Mo Reigns said, what a bunch of Debbie Downers. I thought it was good, but I think WrestlePalooza will have more surprises since that is the first PLE on ESPN. Jason said, I always grade on a curve because it takes a lot of work putting on a wrestling show, but it was pretty bad. So 5.25. There were a lot of mistakes. This could have been a house show. EJB said matches were good. Ending of main event was awful. Edward said 3 best matches: Roman Bronson, Sheamus Rusev, John Logan. Those 3, 8 to 9. The other 3 matches, and brought down the score. So overall, 7. Lex said, an enjoyable show. I think the best match was Rusev versus Sheamus. I like the fact that Becky helped Seth. I hope this sets up CM Punk and AJ Lee versus Seth and Becky. I think they could have done more with the Becky and Nikki match. I didn't like that one at all. So, Pancake Fake Days. There we go. That was a picture I shared from when I was in Egypt. And I don't remember having a face like that, but, well, I mean, photos don't lie. Uncle Howdy Dreads said 10 out of 10 for the 6. So I think the 6 getting 10 out of 10. Maybe not the show. Brendan said CM Punk's going to win the title. Dean said 7 out of 10. Logan was surprisingly good. Rusev Sheamus was the best match. I feel like the main event ending was lazy. As much as I'd love to see AJ come back, I don't know if she wants to or if anything has changed on that front. Great watch along. Thanks, says Dean. Thanks, Dean. Gabriel said, no Brock. What happened there then? I don't know that he was going to be on this show. I mean, I was consistent in saying I don't know that he's going to jump on a plane and go all the way to Paris. So I don't know. It wasn't one that I was massively expecting. I said out of likely or unlikely, I'm leaning unlikely. There was a chance. Yeah, what with WrestlePalooza being set up, there was a chance. But yeah, they didn't need it. Didn't go that way. Bones said, I thought it was okay for what it was. I'm going to let the Becky angle play out and just reserve opinion. Fair. Mark thoroughly enjoyed it. Kiki gives it 5 out of 7. Matthew said Clash in Paris was good. Match of the night, Cena Paul. I was right there that Becky joining the Vision, and I believe this is the first Paul Heyman woman that Heyman managed. Overall, great PLE, 9. See you at Raw, yeet, says Matthew. Robbie said, didn't watch live and I'm very grateful. Roman is pure effing aura. Tag match boring. Nikki, Becky dreadful. Rusev, Sheamus, unexpected banger. Cena, Logan terrible and it was too long. Ending was lame. F this, 1.5. Struggled. Henry said, brilliant open. Tag match okay. Nikki, Becky was okay. Sheamus, Rusev was okay. Cena, Logan was good. Logan needs to pee off. Fatal 4-Way was brilliant. Ending fantastic. But are we getting AJ and Punk against Becky, Seth? Question mark. Great stream. Giving the show a 5. Henry, thank you. J Omega said Roman Bronson 8. Wyatt Street Profits 7.5. Becky, Nikki 6. Sheamus, Rusev 9. Cena, Logan 7.9. Seth, Punk, Knight, J 6. Overall 7.4. Show was great. That AJ Lee return will be sweet. Sweet Shan said it was an okay show. I'd give it a 7. Wasn't overly excited about the end of the main event. I just hope this ends up leading to an AJ return. I will definitely lose my shiz, but not going to get my hopes up, as she didn't return any of the main PLEs. Thanks for a great stream. That is also how I feel as well. Dylan said, great show. Loved every bit of it. Cena Logan match from entrance to finish. Main event was all right. Becky helping Seth I found okay, but maybe that means we get AJ Lee back for a bit, says Dylan. Caleb said, I think it was a very good PLE. Hopefully tomorrow AJ wins the IC title. The crowd were immense. Cena, Logan, best match for me, but they were all good matches, says Caleb. Braylon said Roman Bronson match and Sheamus Rusev match were the only good matches. Maybe the Fatal 4-Way was up there too. Daryl said 7. Show had its moments. Crowd electric. Becky seemingly joining the vision. If Crown Jewel isn't champion versus champion, could we do Seth and Becky against Punk and AJ in Perth? I feel WrestlePalooza is too close. I'd be really disappointed if we did that there. I don't want AJ Lee coming back and doing it in Australia. AJ Lee coming back and it being in Australia. Not for me. I want that to be in Chicago, I think. I don't know. I'd like that to be in America. I mean, not that it massively matters because the Australian crowd would be amazing, but don't know. It doesn't really sit well. Tracy said Clash in Paris was okay. What saved the show was Roman and John Cena. I give the show a 7. Becky helping Seth is no surprise. However, the vision needs help. Crowd were entertaining and engaging. Lee said that the French were unreal. Tom said, I knew that Seth was going to retain. I just didn't think it would be like that. Becky coming out caught me off guard. Ian said, I give it 6.5. Thought the main event didn't live up to expectation. The big surprise was a letdown. Sheamus Rusev was my favourite match of the night. And Hyoma said, really good, surprisingly. So I did all of them. I did them all. And there we go. Over 70, nearly 80 comments. And I think my takeaway from that is a real mixed bag. Lots of different thoughts on what match of the night was. Lots of different scores in regards to the show. As we said, kind of starting off with some struggles. But then actually, getting some other scores as well. Like, I wonder if I can find, because I've not looked actually, but I should have actually got the poll out. Normally we don't get a chance to have a look at the poll results, but we might be able to here. Let's have a look. Yes, we can. And this is where we are. This is good. I was not expecting to be able to do this. So it's been up 3 hours. It's had nearly 200 votes. Good, okay. So this show is going to come out as good 92% at the moment. So, yeah. I mean, I think for me, I'm definitely about here. If I had to choose between clicking on one of those, I would probably go good, okay as well, actually. So, but I can understand those that got a bit more out of it maybe than I did and have gone into that 133, but I think I'd be with the 52. So yeah, I'm sort of bobbing around here on it, but I'd probably have clicked that as well. So that's where the show is looking. So interesting. Well, I hope you found it interesting anyway, and thank you for making it all the way to the end. So really do appreciate it. We're back later with Raw. Of course, we'll be doing the watch long, and don't forget it's going to be earlier than usual because it's in France. They're not leaving France, it's in France, and they could have some surprises up their sleeve. Tony and Elia and whatever. And I'm sure we'll get some more answers in regards to if Becky is a permanent member, because I still don't totally know the answer to that. So I'm sure we'll get some more fallout and everything. And yeah, of course, I'm going to go off and work on Unseen now as well. So big thank you for all the support, for joining us for the watch along, for sharing your comments. Really appreciate it. And I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.